Let's get more on our top story now and the situation in the Syrian border city of Kobani. ISIS has launched new attacks on the city, and it comes just months after the group was driven out by Kurdish fighters, boosted by U.S. airstrikes. For more on this, I'm joined now live in the studio by Vehbi Baysan. He is an assistant professor of Middle East and Turkish regional policy at Yeditepe University. Thanks so much for coming in.
Pleasure.
What does this morning's attack on Kobani actually say about the strength of ISIS?
Well, actually, this is a clear demonstration that ISIS is still up and running and is still a serious threat for the region and definitely for YPG, the Kurdish forces, which actually they were for a long time celebrating their victory in Kobani. But not to forget, as you also mentioned, that this was achieved with precisely because of the airstrikes came from the U.S. So the message is very clear. They gave another message much stronger than this, because after the fall of Kobani, they managed to capture Ramadi, which is like that in Iraq, which brought them as close as 40 kilometers to capital Baghdad. So, and as you would remember, hundreds and thousands of people flee, and they were stopped at the gates of Baghdad, and they were not allowed in, and we still have refugee crisis there. So that's the message.
Right. Tell us more then about why Kobani is so strategically important.
Well, that came as a surprise, actually, because not to forget, this is Ain al-Arab in Arabic, the area is called, and ISIS were quite operative, and they were controlling the border towns in Syria, northern Syria. And thereafter, actually, they withdraw for an unknown reason and back to their Raqqa province, which is northeastern part of Syria. And they're effectively almost more than 2 years now, they're controlling the area. And all of a sudden, they moved 145 kilometers towards Kobani and attacked there. So that's when the international community interfered, and Kurdish fighters involved in, etc. It was important because I think they wanted to, on a way, weaken the Kurdish forces in the region, and Kobani represented that place as headquarters. So that it's therefore, I think, international community came up with a plan, but that plan was limited to air bombarding Kobani, and that's how they were rescued.
Tell us, important, why or how concerned is Turkey with Kurdish advances here? I mean, on one hand, they're united in fighting ISIS forces, but at the same time, the Turks do not want to see an empowered Kurdish militia, which to them equals the outlawed PKK. And it's known in Turkey that this could threaten Turkey's own territorial integrity.
Well, Turkey for a long time had been accused by, in a way, assisting or helping or easing out for ISIS. In my personal opinion, it was not true. Actually, it's the perception of threat for Turkey. The priority is the Kurds, or Kurdish separatism, or establishment of any type of Kurdish entity or autonomy in the region. So that's their priority. In that perspective, actually ISIS comes the second. So we shouldn't confuse them both. So now for Turkey, Kurdish issue is still a taboo, and it's going to be that way. Therefore, they since the beginning made it very clear that actually Turkey is against, or rather supporting, the integrity of Syrian land. So precisely they're saying that we don't want to see any Kurdish autonomy in the area, especially just beside their borders.
Okay. Dr. Vehbi Baysan, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
Very much appreciated.